turn up then.
All right. Thank y'all so much for joining the Unicorn Fairy Love Child experience today. This is episode 6. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. Today we're going to be talking about healthy relationships and dating. I have some pretty high vibrating souls with me today because this is a pretty heavy topic and I didn't want, it to get too heavy. So first I have Twon. Twon is a marketer and a photographer. He is a life path 11 or maybe 2. We're not really sure at this point. Then I have Lanisha. She is an aspiring DJ. Both of these people are single. And Lanisha, you're 4, correct?
Yes.
And a Taurus. And then my good friend Sabastian, who is also a photographer. And forgot your number. What is your number?
1 through 9.
Listen, Sabastian is refusing to conform to numerology at this time. But let's get with it. So I put healthy relationships and dating together because I think it's difficult, one, to find someone who is in a committed, healthy relationship. And more single people tune into my podcast than anybody else. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm not single, so I'm like, why y'all listening to me? But
They want to relationship tips.
they might. I mean, I don't know. They might. Maybe maybe. I'm giving you a keyhole experience.
Maybe your goals.
Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just out here, man. I ain't nobody special. So let's start at the beginning. How do healthy romantic relationships start, in your opinion?
Honesty.
Really?
Yes, be forthcoming.
You shouldn't be honest with anybody.
I mean,
You should be.
Only people you want a relationship with, really.
So you feel like it's okay to be dishonest with people who you're not in a romantic relationship with?
I don't say it's okay, but if you don't care about the results of that interaction, you just like, this is somebody I'm just seeing for the first time and I'm not going to see you ever again, then you don't know my real name.
Okay, wow. What's your fake name?
It changes. It depends on your face.
Sheesh, I hope y'all don't see this and you're like, that's
Yes.
Bert. No, really, his name isn't Bert. What do y'all think?
Straightforward.
Straightforward?
Yes.
But like I said, I feel like you should be honest and straightforward with everybody. I don't think you should be in a relationship with everybody. I think some really cool people just might not make good partners. And you don't know that until like you try to become a partner with them. Because it's like,
That's why you got to be straightforward. Let them know what you want.
That is true. A lot of people find it difficult to be honest with themselves first.
That's true.
Because you can make a pretty list. Like, I want a girl that's got this, and this. And then turn around and you get that girl and it's like, but you don't take the crust off my sandwiches, so I don't like you no more. So usually, based on my poll, healthy relationships start with common interest, convenience. A lot of people are dating people strictly because they work with them, or they live nearby, or they see them a lot. I feel like I touched your soul. I wasn't trying to preach this early in the conversation.
Don't touch me.
Friendships, and then unusual circumstance. I know y'all have heard of like deaths in the family and meeting somebody at the funeral, or somebody's in prison and like they do the prison pen pal thing, and then they get married. Like the girl who was an escort. And she went to prison, and then T.I. and them got her off. She ended up marrying somebody like 2 days after she got out of jail. Did y'all know that?
I seen something
What was
about
her
that.
name?
It's like Cynthiana.
Yeah.
Something like
I know you're
that.
talking about.
Something
I
like
seen
that.
it.
I seen something about that, but I don't know as far as the details. It's like,
I don't know the
What's
details.
that?
like where they,
Cynthiana?
but she was already a national spotlight. You know
She
what I'm saying?
was, but do you
to
consider
go
that
in.
to be a healthy relationship, though?
How
No.
can you tell? What was it like
I
love
know.
at first sight? As soon as she came out of jail, she was just straight, boom.
I mean, some people do be fine when they get out of jail. Prison food is pretty. Put some pounds on you. I'm just saying.
Maybe-
I'm
I
just
don't know,
saying.
Or off
And in
you.
theory, that's true. And in theory, you might be celibate while you're in prison. You should be anyway. So you can trust that person isn't cheating on you. You can trust all of those things. But in terms of like, that would be like an unusual circumstance. So what if it's like an unhealthy circumstance? Like if you are pursuing a married man or a married woman.
And you just got out of jail?
No, we've already switched from that.
Oh, did we? That was
Yeah,
quick.
that was
I
quick.
wanted to talk about how like jail is meant to reform you.
I'm surgical like that. That's how I
You
do
know what I
things.
mean?
Well, I mean, it's meant to reform you, but that doesn't mean it's meant to reform you as a partner. Like, it's meant to reform you as a person.
But that means you're ready. Maybe you just know that
I mean, you don't
ready
have
to be with someone.
you don't have to do
I've
nothing
been
time to
with
do
the
nothing but
wrong
think.
people before then, you know, she had the wrong mindset. She was just giving herself away until she had some
Well,
personal time.
because she was an escort, she might have been in a position where she wasn't willingly giving herself away. Because I think in her circumstance, she was being held by someone because she was a child.
Okay.
So I don't think that was the case. If anything, I would feel like she would want to date more people to get experiences to find out, like, what type of man do I like outside of the men I've been laying under for the past 5-10 years.
Well, that 5 or 10 years could do some damage to your train of thought.
That is true.
As far as what you do accept, or your standards. You know what I mean?
But then when this guy approached her, I mean, like you said, I don't know the whole story.
Of course, I was about to say, how do you approach a woman in prison?
You write a letter.
Okay.
That's it. You write a letter.
I mean,
So if you write her a letter and you say,
and they did it, that's enough.
But like you said, her psyche was kind of damaged, and that's women who are not even in prison. That's women who are. I did a video the beginning of last week called emotional PTSD. Okay. So if you have been, in a traumatic experience or been in bad relationships, and a man approaches you and says everything that this person or these people were, I'm willing to not do any of that. Then you, because women really just want to be secure and happy. So if you say, I'm going to protect you and I'm going to keep you happy, most of the time women be like, okay. Because, like, the last 10 people couldn't even do that. So if he wrote her a letter saying that, it could have been enough for her to say agree to marry him. She literally married him, like, 48 hours after her release. Like, that's a lot to me.
That's a rare case, too.
That is a rare case. But
There had to be a lot of communication going on.
People get married straight out of prison all the time. But when, like I said, I would consider that an unhealthy circumstance, me personally, because in her situation, she was a child and she didn't really get a chance to date around. I think that's important before you get married. So that's what I was moving on to before Sabastian cut me off.
When you can touch, like she said, don't touch me. But if you're gonna send me some
that was in your
letters
spirit
while I'm incarcerated, and I'm like, I can see myself in
with
the
you,
words that you're sending
but I'm
me,
sure
then
plenty of men sent her
we
letters.
just connected, and we're like, I can spend my life.
But he
with
was
you.
handsome.
Boom, 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 boom.
He was handsome.
Sometimes the dominoes just fall like that. If you can just have them lined up, gotta do it.
But the thing,
that is true. He will.
But this is the thing, though. Like, so she gets out, she gets released, and she's married.
Yeah.
And gets married.
She gets married.
So I'm sorry. So she gets out, and then she gets married.
Yes.
So, where was the dating? You know what I'm saying?
There was courtship, right? So theoretically, this idea of dating that we have right now in the modernized world, that's kind of a relatively new thing. Because remember, before there were arranged marriages and you didn't really get to date. Then there was a period of time where there was courtship, where the man goes meet my dad, and then he comes to eat dinner with us, and we might sit in church together, and then he buys a house and some land, and then I can be his wife. So dating around is a relatively new thing, and I think that's why we struggle with this so much as a people, because, like, in theory, when we were created, depending on who you believe in, the Creator created a man to be with one woman and a woman to be with one man. So, one person, politically correct. But
flesh of my flesh.
Yes. So if he wanted me to be with 20 different men before I met my husband, then that's really not the case. I think we have gotten into a system to where we feel like we're missing out on something. So we missing out, I don't want to lock myself down like marriage is like a jail sentence. But there are people, like I said, that look at one woman and see her as a prison, and the next man sees her as a church. So it really depends on the person. But that's what I was talking about, unhealthy starts. Do you think it's possible to build a foundation on something that's not necessarily in an unhealthy way? So prison would be an example, or somebody who's already in a relationship, somebody who's married. There's the Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats situation. He was married and he had a child, and they've been married for I don't even know how many years, and they feel like they're soulmates. You don't believe in that?
She just got lucky.
You think she got lucky?
Yeah.
You don't think it's possible that somebody's husband is your soulmate?
No. I thought that way.
That's deep.
I thought that way, I said a year or two ago.
You were dating a married man?
No.
Oh,
Someone
okay.
that was in a relationship.
Okay.
And it's like it's like they searching for something that they're not getting in their relationship. And it's always going to come back to, oh, I have that, but I still don't have whatever the other person has that they are currently in a relationship with.
So it's not necessarily a replacement. It's like a substitution.
Yeah.
So it's not like I want to remove you from my life and I'm going to insert this other person.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I would like cheese on my eggs. You got the eggs.
Yeah.
You got the cheese.
Yeah.
So I won't, instead of just teaching his woman how to make cheese eggs.
Yeah.
That's very deep. That is very, very
Well,
interesting.
you shouldn't have to teach them. That's. I think that's something that. Right, like that's something that shouldn't come in your relationship. Like if you meet somebody that you really like hit it off with,
Like you vibe with?
yes, they're already like gonna be there. Like you don't have to teach them how to be a woman. Only when it's forced.
I didn't necessarily
feel.
say teach them how to be a woman.
No,
Being
not a woman. Your woman. Like how to cook my
Was-
toast, how to make my eggs.
So how
to
is she
do all
going to
of
know
that.
how to make your toast?
I mean, maybe you just make some good toast.
She just do it.
So you're saying that you just like her
It's
toast?
there.
Okay.
Yes.
I can understand
like
that.
your
and that's gonna be the answer to like to the first question is like what is it, you know, what is the important foundations, like my man said, honestly. I think chemistry, you know what I'm
Chemistry
saying?
is a very big
chemistry
thing.
is the biggest thing to me, because if I don't have that chemistry with you, then I don't have that feel for you, you know what I'm
But-
saying? Like
The gag is chemistry is a momentary thing. So you have to be with someone who you not only have chemistry with, but you know, like science experiments fizzle in and fizzle out. So if you're with somebody strictly based off of how they make you feel, feelings are not meant to be eternal.
Okay.
That's why you feel sad, you feel happy. Like emotions are not 100%. Like relationships, you should have love in your relationship, but a relationship cannot stand on love alone, because the honesty thing has to come in, respect has to come in, and on those days when you don't feel biologically connected to me, we still have to have a commitment to each other, so that you're not out going to Nene looking for some cheese for your eggs. You just saying, oh, you know, Kayla missed the cheese on my eggs this morning. I love her enough to let her try again tomorrow.
That's
Yeah.
where relationships are failing.
That is why relationships are failing. That instant gratification. Instant gratification is a thing of our generation. I'm not saying of our generation, but over the last 100 years for sure. Because it's always, it's not that I can do better. I can get something else right now. Like, I don't have to wait for Sabastian to do better when I could just call Antonio, and Antonio can be here today, and he can give me
He's not gonna
my
do
toast.
it right though. He ain't got.
I mean, he might know how I like my toast because I just like Antonio's toast. So when you said lead with how to make something start up a healthy way, you said straightforward. How much of yourself do you reveal to someone when you first start dating them?
as much as like time allows.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, let me
Because-
rephrase the question. How deep are you getting?
How did you meet? How deep is your relationship?
Well, if you're looking
How
at this,
deep do you want to get?
yeah, if you're looking for this person as like your end of the road person, then you know, because when I think of that in terms of like past traumas.
take that shit slow. Hey, take that shit slow.
Why do you feel that
Take
way?
that shit slow.
Why do you feel like? Cause she said everything out the gate.
Hell
you
nah.
let the floodgates.
Hell
open.
nah, you let that flood. Hey, I'm liable to drown. I mean, it just depends. You got. I know for me, like I gotta digest it slow. You know what I'm saying? I got you. Cause again, my answer is
It's a judgment-free zone.
off the chemistry. You know what I'm saying? So off
Yes.
the chemistry, I'm already, giving you me and expecting you to give, you know what I'm saying, you yourself to me off of what we like, the chemistry. You know what I'm saying? Let's not fuck up the chemistry right now. Let's ride the wave.
Well, see, the
But
thing
don't waste
about
time.
it is, not
But
even
no,
wasting
we're not
time,
wasting time. We're enjoying the time.
but
that-
enjoying each other. Okay, I had not my past relationship. I was having a conversation with a woman about love, maybe April 2014. She was doing my hair. She was from Jamaica, and she told me that some men can make you feel so good, but you don't have potential to be going far with that person because it's like eating a bag of sugar. Sugar is great. Like, you love sugar. Like, you continue to eat a bag of sugar, you're gonna die because it's not the feeling that's not gonna sustain you. Like,
Okay.
just like you tell a kid, they say I'm hungry and they ask for some candy. Like, you're not gonna get full off of candy.
Yeah.
So that chemistry that you're talking about, or that feeling, I can relate that to sugar.
Okay.
For me, it's more of like, if you're getting invested in someone, I'm not saying like first date, like, hey, I killed a man once. Like, don't do that. Because she might report you. You don't know. But when you are trying to become intimate on a certain level with someone, I'm not sure what the timeline is. Like you said, whatever the time allows. You're trying to become intimate on a certain level with someone, and they feel your guard is up. That's going to poison that chemistry. That's when things start to fizzle out, because it's like, oh, he's lying about something. Yeah. He's hiding something. He might got a whole wife at home. I don't know. He might, got a trail of children.
But that's how all this is connected, because then, like, the chemistry is one thing. That's what got us here at the dinner table. You know what I'm saying?
That's what made me like you.
Can we talk about the chemistry?
But then, like, you want to start asking me questions, and you're asking me these questions to get to know me, just like what about you? You know what I'm saying? Just to get to know you.
Right.
So it's like, that's when I, perform the honesty after questions. Now, if you ask me if I kill a man, you go know whether or not, because I'm not going to say yes or no. You know what I'm saying?
But then, how would you perceive that if you were having a conversation with him in a romantic way? And you asked him, have you killed a man before? I don't know why anybody would ask that. But if you did, let's not go that far. Have you
I don't know why they would.
Have you ever had your heart broken? That's something that you might ask someone.
Okay.
And he doesn't give you a yes or a no. What is your next response in your mind?
I have
you don't know? Because
I mean, that's something that you would want to tell somebody.
That is, but if he's refusing to tell you, that foundation is now not built on trust or honesty. Yeah. Now it's built on secrecy.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, dang, do I know the girl that broke your heart? Is that why you don't want to tell me? I mean, I haven't been in the single world for a long time, but I can imagine that it might be that might be something that would be poisonous. That might be something that cuts the conversation short. Because she might have been willing to reveal something to you had you given her that information, but now it's like, well, we must not be on that level.
So now both of us going to have our guard up.
And then you're not going to get nowhere.
Okay. Exactly.
So
that's that level. So
that's the level.
Y'all really just two single people, like, dating each other.
Rubbing up against each other.
Yeah.
You're not ever going to become intertwined.
And that's why I said, like, when
not
you say
never.
Meet,
I mean, it's not going
to. But you avoiding it.
We living in a time where people is not wasting time.
And that's why that conversation up front, like, where do you want this to go? It's good to know, so you can, like, make your plan. You can kind of map your road trip out. Like,
but are you doing white lies during that time? Like, if somebody says, how many people have you had sex with? And you've had sex with 150. Not to say that you've had sex with 150 people, but the number's 150. You tell her 15, and then somewhere down the line, she finds out that it's been way more than 15.
16, 17?
No, like 150. Do you round back out to say, when we were dating, I didn't tell you because I didn't feel like we knew each other that deep? Like, that wasn't really that big of a lie. Because what difference does it make, 150 or 15?
I want to know.
I mean, that's clearly a lie. I mean, it's clearly a lie.
It depends on who you ask. Some people don't feel like it's a big difference.
I guess because I'm an open person. You pretty much ask me something, I'm probably.
Do you want people to be as open with you as you are with them? You don't feel like you would feel a little bit perturbed if your number is 10 and his number is 120?
No.
Okay. That's for you personally. Some people that might be.
I personally wouldn't want to know.
You wouldn't want to know?
I personally wouldn't want to know.
Would you want to know, Sebastian? You don't know if you would want to know?
You know, it depends.
On
it really
what?
does. I think when we talk about mileage. And
mileage does count.
Whenever you're just getting to know somebody, especially if y'all are, like, taking time, y'all haven't been with each other and it's been like 2-3 months, right?
Because
those guys are still out there. I love you. I love y'all who are waiting and not just hitting it and just feel like you're gonna build something off that one nighter that you met in Deep Ellum.
But the double standard is that a woman with high mileage must not value herself as much. And a man with high mileage must be more experienced.
Or she hasn't been valued.
Or she hasn't been valued. I personally would not want to date a man that everybody has had. Or I wouldn't want to have sex with a man that everybody has had. The numbers just, the statistics, they just go higher. Statistically, you're going to have more children. Statistically, you've been exposed to many different diseases. Statistically, you've given your energy to so many different people that you might not have any left to give me. Statistically, you're a bad decision. So I don't necessarily think, I've never dated a woman. I don't seek to. But I would imagine when you're dating a woman, those things flow through your mind as well. So when you're talking about being straightforward and honest, that might not be something that someone who's not prepared to reveal that part of themselves as being a part of the honesty thing. Like I know a lot of women who've married men who have body counts in the triple digits, and their husbands might not know that, but they married them anyway because I mean they got down there, the mileage wasn't high enough for you to not give up. So I mean I think it depends on the person. You said you don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Honestly, when I'm dating someone, I'm interested in them. I don't really want to know too much about exes.
Yeah, I'm like that too.
I just don't want to know. Like I mean because
What about if you know one of them?
But then, if I know one of them, I mean, it depends on how well I know that person. Because if I really know that person, I most likely
you knew the woman.
Exactly,
unless she was
and we're not going anywhere anyway.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on.
Because you don't
Are you
wanna...
local? Is your body count local?
Are you talking to me?
This is what I want to know. Are we talking about how many people you've been with? Like, where did I meet you? Do you know did I meet you with my friends? Are we
Is
connected
that a deal
now?
breaker?
All these things matter though.
Do I have Eskimo brothers
all
out
these
there
things matter
that I need to know about? Because I mean, we could be close now. Like they might be my
and the
best
dudes?
friends.
Yeah.
You never know.
I mean, but is that a deal breaker? If you
I'm having him plug up his mic because I want to know, like, does that kill the chemistry though?
are you about to join the conversation?
Not if
wow.
it's based off honesty. If it's
Seven.
off honesty, bro, you're gonna take
This
that
Harvest
person.
Moon is really
how they
taking over
come.
you today.
But what's the
what I
question?
mean?
Hold on. What's the question?
Well, he was
But-
saying about body counts being local. That's why I wanted
Vincent
to turn
has
the mic
joined
on.
the,
There we go.
conversation.
Welcome.
If
That's
you're
why
at
I
home, you
wanted to
can't
turn
see
the
that.
mic on, because does local versus national versus regional bodies matter?
I think so.
Why?
I mean, because it's a different environment. Because you could be with that person, you know, walking around, and now
so
you got your interface.
There's
with,
6 million people in the DFW Metroplex.
So
if she's from California, where there's more people than there are in Texas, and she's had sex with 300 people, and you don't know any of them, are you more inclined to date her versus if she had sex with 300 people locally? You don't
Yes.
even want you are okay.
Yes.
So it's not the 300 bodies that matter. It's do I have to brush up against 300
is
different
that
men?
what kind of looks
Am I gonna
getting?
am I gonna walk across someone that
uncomfortable
you
in my own neighborhood?
that has seen you naked before?
I mean, or is he just gonna be looking like? It's not about him seeing you naked. It's about how he feel. He done lost somebody, and then now somebody else got him. So he feel like he gotta like step up or something.
And you want to have to
do all
fight
the
him?
extra
You don't
stuff.
want to have to fight.
What are we
Gotta fight
doing?
every night to prove my love.
I love it. I love it.
Do you feel the same way about yourself? Like, do you feel like I'm not asking your body count, but I'm for both of you. Do you feel that a woman should approach you in the same sense? Like, I don't want to date Sabastian. I don't want to date Twon because he's been with so many people. Not to say that you have, but in theory, if you have, do you feel like that's a deal breaker that they should have for them? Because you're not even trying to date nobody who's been with somebody that you might know, and you know a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, and you do too.
Yeah.
So if she knows just as many people, who's to say that she said that you not up for grabs because you might have slept with somebody 12 years ago who she knows?
And if that's the topic, I mean, then I guess I just gotta you
gotta
gotta
do
face
it.
that music. I mean,
The
you know, you
chemistry's
gotta
not
you make up the
there.
bed, you gotta sleep in it.
That's
But
it.
but honestly, like I don't think at least before this conversation, I didn't think women really just like
Depends
thought
on the
about
woman.
that. You know
It
what I'm
depends on the
saying? Like
woman.
I didn't
Yeah, it
think
does.
it does.
I mean,
okay.
if you are a spiritually inclined woman, you understand how sex works.
Okay.
So I was talking to somebody the other day about a jar being on top of your head, like a woman's head that's full of mojo. Like in Spanish, it's like the machismo. So your machismo over a woman is like how much she loves you and how much she's willing to accept from you. Like it's full when you first meet her, when you first fall in love. Every time you do something that she doesn't like, every time you do something that hurts her, a little bit of that machismo leaves. So some women have been married and they only got half a cup left
Oh,
because
so this is no refillable. Like
this is not refillable.
This is okay.
No,
Man.
because for men, you know, y'all are not as intimately thinking about this. Like you think about like possessing a woman and loving her. Like this is my woman.
Right.
Women don't necessarily. We think like this is my man, but it's like your magic over her is directly connected to your ability to exchange energy with her.
And that's important because that creates the chemistry. You
Yes.
know when somebody is for you when they're using that electricity
And it's
to
just-
cut
it's like
the,
magic.
cut the crust off your toes just right.
Right.
And they make sure
But
that they
if you're-
feeling that what you
What
get
is that to
smoke.
say about holding somebody's past against them though?
But it's
before
not
they met
necessarily
you?
your past or holding it against you. It takes a special type of person to bed 300 people. So if you are that special type of person, and me personally, I don't know about you, you've exchanged energy with 300 people. Those people who laid under you that you didn't know for one day, they've probably laid under several other people who they knew just for one day. So you were exchanging energy with those people who came before you. You might have exchanged energy with 3,000 people at this point. And you get to me, and you only have this much energy left over to exchange with me. I have to be satisfied with this amount of energy when I could date somebody else who's only dated 10 people.
That's the point I'm making.
So we don't get
because
this
if
energy
they
back?
Didn't tell you.
Once your energy
Hold on.
is exchanged
But
with another
if they
person,
did
you can't
not-
get it back from them.
If they wasn't honest with you, you wouldn't even have known because y'all at dinner.
But I think you can feel that type of thing,
You see
though.
what I'm
Oh
saying?
no, you can't feel that.
But y'all at dinner.
If you ask someone,
button.
hey, if you ask someone, hey, how many people have you had previously?
I think you can feel that.
I think
No,
you can feel it.
if
I mean,
you
we're
ask-
women, so I mean, I think you
so
can feel
if,
it.
If we're out and we're eating and you ask me, you look me in my eye, you
No,
ask me,
I
so
don't
how
mean
many
feel
people
it
you
then.
been?
I don't mean feel it then.
Okay, because if I say,
I mean over the relationship or in the bedroom, you can tell when somebody is used to laying under people. Like this is what you do. This is your thing. You have sex with people because it's not as magical. Yeah. And even if men be feeling like, oh, I put so much work into this and whatever y'all be thinking, I don't know. I don't be in your head. But it's like in our minds. You can feel that transference of energy. You feel that the elevation. You feel that transcendence. And you can only transcend so far when you have so much, very little to give. And men don't think about that with women. It's like she got high miles. She just got high miles. Like she's immoral.
No.
We don't think about the level of. I mean, you don't care if as long as they not her. But some people, 300 might be a cap. And you don't think about the level of we don't think about your morality. We think of what do you have to give me. How are you here to improve my life? How can you improve my energy when your machismo is in 300 different women?
hold on. So
cool. That's a really cool bullet point. I feel because
Bullet
that's
point.
on my mama. Like I feel like that's the biggest language. What do they say? The distance between men and women.
Yes.
Intimately. Like we don't.
Think that deeply.
No,
You
that's
just
not.
lay under
See,
people.
look, it's that right there.
Yeah.
It's just we don't look at the material as much. I don't think.
Probably not.
You know.
Probably not. And then when men first start having sex, when boys first start having sex,
Exactly.
it's
so
not
we
that
wouldn't
deep.
have smashed some people. We smashed if we looked at the material.
Right? If you look
Then
at
it's-
be
honest.
it's the foundation.
And a lot of y'all just forget people.
it's the
Literally.
foundation and guidance too, because if you think about it, when you're 12, 13 years old, and whoever that father figure or that older
I
person.
thought you meant like having sex. I was like, Lord,
No, but around that time, that's when
Please.
you're supposed to know about it. That's when your sex education supposed
Yes.
to,
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
come in. You feel
That's
me?
a real good point.
So, a lot of us, our sex education came from our peers.
And TV.
You know what I'm saying?
Uncut.
So the whole way that we even see it is like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, so to piggyback his point, we could have not learned how to love a woman until we made
But
all of
it's
them
not
mistakes.
necessarily.
Because I know that's
In a
my
sense.
situation.
you know what I'm saying? In a sense, because it's like,
I do agree
it took me,
with
it took me
that.
a while to realize, hey, all my older cousins, them
Like,
niggas some
y'all
damn
tripping,
fools.
bro.
Like, I
you know
don't
what
want to be
I'm
like
saying?
them no more.
Don't want to be like them no more.
But you
man.
already done accumulated.
Not
I
necessarily.
think one
So
of the
many
biggest
Not
necessarily.
mistakes that we
In
make
theory.
is
Yeah.
looking at somebody's relationship,
Mm-hmm.
a successful relationship, uncut, which like sex is really the success. Like if you get that far, you made it home.
Yeah, that's
home,
definitely
home
not it.
you should be married. Okay, I'm gonna put that in there. Home, that's home. And if you're looking at a sexual situation as a child, then you're looking at the end product. You're not looking at everything that got
You're not
up to
looking at
that,
the
that led
work.
up to that point. Yeah.
That's
And in
true.
this, sex and intimacy are also not the same thing. So when we're talking about, like you saying, men not looking at the material, because it's like, I'm with you now. I'm giving you who I am now. For women, it's more of like, I can only speak for myself. and the women who I've counseled over time. We feel like men have so little to give because you expand so much of yourself before you become who you are. So when you finally do become who you are, and like Sabastian said, you're ready to get married and you're ready to, be in my life, it's like, okay, well, how healthy can our foundation be if I'm sitting across from you at the table and I ask, have you ever had your heart broken? And because you have had very little intimacy except for with that one person, you can't express that to me. So then my wall goes up, your wall goes up, and like he said, we just rubbing up against each other at this point.
But why do you wall go up?
That's why.
Because
Trust.
Because I haven't had my heart broken?
No.
You
didn't answer the question.
Oh, because you didn't answer the question. Okay.
Yeah.
Men don't even want to talk about that. We want to talk about, like, when we okay.
I just want to know what kind of food you like.
What's
your favorite color?
Yeah, if I done did all this to get to a date and get right here, then you got to ask me about something. I don't want to go back there.
You set up a date. That's the whole point of diving deeper. Okay, so let's switch gears.
Yeah.
We are now in a healthy relationship.
Okay.
We've gone past the dinner. We've gotten to that point. We're in a healthy relationship. What are the pros and cons of being in a relationship? Have you ever been in a relationship? No shade. You're really asking.
Man, so limited relationships.
Well, that's good. You provide intimate information. Have you ever been in a relationship?
Honestly, I don't believe I've been in a real relationship.
That's okay. What about you, Sebastian?
Probably, barely.
I can't. In being in a relationship, have y'all been in serious relationships? So
Yes.
what you perceived to be serious before you had an elevation of your mind for you to
Yes.
feel like you wasn't? Okay.
Or in a relationship that aids the elevation of your mind.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is true. So pros of being in a relationship. How do you learn, like you said, how to treat your mate or the expectations they have? Because I just don't feel like nobody's just gonna know how to make your toast off top. I personally don't feel that people are making toast and thinking like, this is exactly how Sebastian likes his toast. Like, how do you even know that?
Attention to Sebastian.
Until you make your toast and then I see how you make your toast.
I mean, if
that's
y'all standing,
different.
that's what exactly. That's what
Over
happens.
time.
You learn about a person once you share that space. You see what they like. You see what they do, and if you like what they like, then you start to involve yourself in those things.
That is true.
And that's how you build
Almost
a foundation of a relationship.
It goes back to that chemistry.
Yeah.
Because if you could I seen it before.
You seen
could-
it? I seen it.
And I've been in it before. You could like a person so much to where even if they don't know how to make toast,
You gonna let it
you
slide.
fuck around don't even start liking toast no more.
That
You know
is
what I'm saying?
true.
You fuck around and be like,
Business.
you fuck around and be like, oh damn,
know what?
I like this person so much.
Forget
believe
this
that.
toast.
Forget that toast. What are
You
you
eat
bringing to the table?
bagels? I eat bagels too.
I eat bagels too.
That is true.
I eat
That
waffles
is
too now. You know
Well,
what I'm
okay,
saying?
what
So-
about the expectations? I was reading this meme and I had shared it to the UFLC page where it was like this girl saying, am I the only woman who feels that when my boyfriend tells me to scoot over in the bed that I might as well just go in my car, park in the garage, and just lay there until I fall asleep because he obviously trying to put me out?
She's an extremist.
I wouldn't necessarily
Shaking
say an
extreme.
extremist. That
All
might just
women
be
are.
her expectation.
I don't know if all women are that way.
Most
but
women are.
definitely sensitive to what you put out. Right?
Yes.
And in a dream state, because I just experienced this, I'm going through my own struggles, my inner turmoil,
I'm going
bro.
through my own
You know what I
struggles.
mean? And then I just might need some space. Or I'm hot.
So then if she got up and left and went to another room, would you feel offended?
I would not.
Okay.
We sleep. Can I have some peace?
Would you be offended if your boyfriend told you to scoot over? I get offended.
What if I don't even say scoot over? I just get up and I go sleep on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
What's
Me
wrong?
personally, that's a problem. But I mean, I'm married. But even when he was my boyfriend, if he was sleeping at my house, if he told me like I need the cover or like scoot over or something, I'd be like, why you like I feel cussed out. Me personally, but my love language is time, quality time. So like he can buy me anything, that's not gonna matter to me. I need you in my face, like staring at me.
I can
24/7.
I can see where the issue is though, and being married and being like as a single male,
Which is
like,
why we have so many
who's-
people on this panel.
Right, like you should be one with your mate. Like if I'm in a battle, then you in a battle with me. You like, what's wrong? What I need to do?
Real life. You can't
reporting
escape.
for duty. You know what I mean? And it's just something that you're going through together. Everything that you do is together at that point. You know. So that's why I really admire like married couples because.
Do you admire them because you feel like their life is simpler, or do you admire them? I say them like I'm not them, but do you admire married couples because you want to be married? not necessarily about the experience.
I think that marriage is the purest form of freedom.
I feel that. I do feel like you are. I'm the only married person in the room. Well, no, Jansen might be married. I don't know. It's freeing because it's not. It's not a worry kind of thing. Like, are you coming over tonight? You're here every day. Are we going out to eat? If I'm hungry, you're gonna feed me. Are you gonna? Can you do something for me? Like, it's almost a. That is if you're married to the right person. There are people who got married, contractually, and it's like surface level. It's not as deep. As for me and my husband, we are very much like really married. So I know some married people that have open marriages. I know some married people who got a lot going on, but we are really married, and that's the bads and the goods. So it's like if I want to leave or if I want to get up and sleep on the couch, I can't do that because it's my husband. It's not my boyfriend. Right. So if he feels personally offended because we are one, I'm going to have to feel that energy. If he is experiencing some turmoil, I'm going to feel that energy because I've chosen to intertwine my life with that person. So that's more like on the cons. On the pros, like you have a lifelong friend. You have a companion. Like you got somebody to eat Cheez-Its with and watch Netflix. You got somebody to help you get the stuff out the car. You got somebody that if you had a long day, I probably talk to my husband on the phone 6 or 7 times a day. And then we go home and we are staring at each other for the rest of the time. Like from the time we open our eyes to the time we go to sleep. Now for him, that might not be his pro. Because he is a different type of person than me. He prefers space. His love language is affirmations. So if I'm telling him, I love you, I think you're amazing all the time, his day is good. I need him to be like next to me all the time. If he leaves my side, I feel personally offended. But if I don't say anything to him the whole day, he feels personally offended. I don't need him to tell me that I'm great. I feel great already. To him, he needs to know that I think that he is great. So if you are with someone who you are not, they're not interested in learning your love language, then it will be a stressful situation.
That's where the getting out of the bed is so interesting. I feel like you're like Morgan Freeman
because they can't see you.
That's why I think it's cool because I'm like the behind the scenes guy.
Oh my god!
But that's the interesting part about if someone's telling you, I won't go as deep as to say married because I'm not. But if I want to get there and I'm asking for space and you're mad, you're not listening to me.
So you don't feel that your love language is being
you're not
respected.
Understanding me. Yeah.
It takes a long time to get that. Like me and my husband have been married going on 3 years in February, but we've been knowing each other for almost 9 years. So it's more of I had time to get to know him as my friend. I had time to get to know him when he was transcending and evolving into he's a completely different person.
Sound like I took this shit slow.
Well, I can't. On the outside looking in, it feels slow, but I had no aspirations of being with him or marrying him when he was my friend. So the dance was different.
And this
it was like, you're my friend.
I was trying to listen to like learn because I'm not married and you are. So I want to know like how would you view that if your husband was like, you know what I'm saying, this ain't personal, this just
I've been there because
space.
My husband, like I said, he is a space type of person because he was basically an only child.
That's how I met you, so we got that in common.
That is true. But it took some time for me to understand that even though quality time is my love language, that there will be days when I want quality time and he's not able to give that to me. And not taking it personally because that's not him. That's not who he is as a person. It's a struggle for him to have to do this for me. So I have to respect when he is able to, and I have to acknowledge when he is not able to. Because people can only give you the energy that they have to give. Right. In the same aspect, if his love language is affirmation and I don't have time to tell him how amazing he is that day, or something else is going on with us and I haven't said good job, he has to understand she still thinks I'm amazing. She just didn't have time to say it today. And it's not personal. Now, if it's an ongoing thing, then you're now not respecting my love language because you know that I need that quality time.
That's when you need to go ahead and write them notes and leave them on the refrigerator in your briefcase. Like, you know what I mean?
I've done that. That's because that's his love language. I've done that several times. One of his birthdays, he came in and I had a Post-it note on every wall in the house of all the things that I love about him. So he had to like go around the house and get the Post-it notes, and he still has them, and they're like 4 years old.
Man.
So I mean, but the other con is letting go of the single version of yourself. So I am not really good. I'm not really a good banker on this side because I have not spent a lot of single time. And that might be good, that might be bad, but I feel like God molded me as somebody's wife.
Kayla, stay with a man.
That's not true. It was like I had...
Some of them women just stay with a man.
No,
like, damn,
you know what? Honest to God, I never even wanted a man. I never wanted to be married. I only wanted to have a daughter and me and my daughter to travel around the world. I never wanted to be married. I never wanted to be nobody's wife. My mother was married, and it was such a disgusting display of marriage that I was like, I never want this for myself. Like, I don't want to do it. But people literally just, everywhere I turn, people want to marry me. I had 6 marriage proposals before I was 21. And I was like, I wasn't even having sex with these people or nothing. So I was just like, I mean, I guess.
Leave them older guys alone.
They were not older.
They were ready like she 18, 30. They ready.
No, it was people just, I have that type of energy because you don't have to train me to be a woman. Like, I'm already who I am. Mm-hmm. I already know how to make toast. I already know how to raise kids. I already know how to sit down somewhere. I already know how to listen. I already know how to follow. I know these things. Now, I'm not in any regard saying that it was perfect because, like I said, because I didn't want to be anybody's wife, I just kept saying no. Like, will you marry me? No. Next person. So, having time to be single, I didn't have to, like, force myself. Like, I didn't have to stop doing certain things. Like, there was a couple of things that my husband personally, his personality type could not handle. But it wasn't, like, bad stuff in my opinion. To him, it was like, I don't like this, so don't do it. And I'm like, all right, because I love you so much, forget this. Like, bagels. Yeah, like, what you mean? I want bagels. So for y'all, what parts of yourself do you feel like it was hard to change when entering a relationship, in the relationships that you have been in? Ooh.
So man, with me, being the single me, not being so selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like when you by yourself and it's just you know, you so used to doing things for you, and I had to, step my game up as far as respecting the person,
being more considerate,
you know what I'm saying, and not being as flirtatious and whatnot, because
that's a deal breaker for some people.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just you know what I'm saying. And then what I just had to notice is, like, I just peep game about different stuff, like how women all of a sudden when they see you in a relationship they want to do little things.
Isn't that crazy?
But us as men, like, we be so dumb to it. I feel like we don't even really be paying attention to it because I don't pay attention to it. I mean, because I know who my focus on or whatever. So
social media, relationship goals, #relationship goals has definitely been tumultuous for a lot of relationships, because like you'll notice if you upload, a man uploads a picture of him and his girl, a lot of women might like the picture, but they're liking that picture saying, I want her happiness. A man uploads a picture and maybe 1 or 2 of the guys like the picture, and it's, I want that woman, like I want to have sex with her. I want to know what it's like to be with her. They don't necessarily want what that woman is giving that man, because women have the perception, if he's giving it to her, he will definitely give it to me if I become his girlfriend. I want that level of happiness. Not even realizing that it's definitely dependent on the woman. There are some men who completely trash one woman, get another woman, they treat her like a queen. And it's like, you thought that you were lusting after this woman's happiness when it's not meant to be yours, because you don't have that same vibe. Like, that's not your energy. So I can understand what you mean by, like, you just like, oh, okay, whatever. Because to y'all, it's like, I mean, she's not Amy or whoever. I don't know why I said Amy. That's a stupid name. But
what?
She's not Lanisha. So I don't even know why this girl liking my picture. Because, I mean, I'm not, if I smash her, it's not going to be, I'm not going to upload a picture with her. She's not going to be all over my Facebook, something like that. Yeah, like, you're not going to make it to the page.
Relationship goals. You know what? And I've been in some really good relationship situations.
You definitely have.
And also kind of like high-fiving you on thinking that you're single or moving as an individual in a relationship.
That's
I know
not,
a lot of times
it's not smart.
It's not. But at the same time, if you're not married, right? You go, hold on, just let me go.
I ain't say nothing.
If you're not married and you're an individual, but you say, okay, you're my girlfriend, and now we're friends. We're moving in our like respected lives. We're just moving together, and we're kind of like collaborating or whatever the case
from
may
time
be.
to time.
Yeah, and then it does get like where we're like moving as one, and now I'm considering you in all things that I do.
Like he said,
and,
with the
and
not
like,
being as selfish.
Yeah.
So
like,
that was hard for you to move in unison with somebody else.
I don't know. I think maybe it's triggers that tell us, okay, we need to be more in tune with my girl now.
Okay.
You know?
And I always think there's someone who like the other person more than the other person.
There's a lot of
Always.
single
You know
people
what I'm
in
saying?
relationships.
It's always
Always.
there. So I think it also depends on which part of that line I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Like if I like you, if I'm like really into you and I like you, know
And you don't like, and they person don't like you that much.
I mean, not to say they don't like me that much, but I just always feel like no one likes each other equally. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's true.
Either I like you more than you like me at this time, but 6 months from now something happened and it's like you're
Because,
all
I
into
said,
me more than I am to
it's
you.
waves. It's not. It's not
You know what I'm
it's not a permanent. Chemistry is not permanent. It's not meant to be permanent. You burn out if you were given the same energy every single day. It just
makes
wouldn't work
sense.
out.
I just can't. I can't accept
That makes sense.
that. I can't accept.
Do you
that.
feel like you had to change any parts of yourself? Right. You don't want to burn out.
It's been so long. I'm just
Hey, man,
I've
I'm
been
just
sitting here
asking.
trying to think. What could I possibly say? Because I mean, I
What was
was
the
in a
question
relationship.
Changing the single version of yourself to be in a relationship.
I was in a relationship
Okay.
7-8 years ago because my baby is 8,
Okay.
and you know after that I've just been on the dating train. So it's like
That's a long time. That might not
I'm-
be a long time for some people.
I'm
but
used to. I can begin to talk to somebody and I could just jump in.
I actually think that's healthy though.
It's just
I'm
it's
like
just
you, Kayla. I haven't been single that long in my life.
I be
And
trying to be child.
I think it's different though because I'm a man, obviously, but because you get courted. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? I actually get courted too sometimes. Well, I used to,
I was
but
about to say, clean it up now.
it's more so like I feel like I was running from parts of myself that I need to learn how to shed, and that's what kept popping up in my dysfunctional relationships.
I do believe that dysfunctional relationships foster more dysfunction, or they foster more trauma, because if you're already in a
I didn't want to be with myself. is
yeah,
what I'm
you
trying
already
to
don't
say.
like you. You don't like you,
And I feel like
but you
you-
want me to like you.
Right.
You want me to like you more than you like you.
Right, pretty
And
much.
like you don't want to be around yourself all the time, but you want me to want
But
to
I
be
want
around
to please you more than I want to please me.
But you
at
gotta
the same
fix you
time.
if you want to please me, because you can't please me if you
Right,
poisoning
right,
yourself.
right,
Like
right.
if
Yeah,
you
it's a
are
catch-22.
unclean, you
Right.
gonna get me dirty.
Definitely.
Like people don't really
But that's the
consider
rat
that
race
part.
I see a lot.
Yeah, it is. You see
Ooh.
one person that's
Trying
just
to
getting
use
muddy,
your mate to pull you up.
To be a
Yeah.
reflection of yourself, you want to see.
and now we both drowning. And now I'm further to the top than you, but I'm like, dang, like, whew.
I can't move.
You're right. I'm paralyzed at this point. But my love for you is saying, do you want to drown or do you want him to die? So I would rather not live without him. So I'm going to continue to drown because I want us both to live.
Right.
And a lot of women get in that position because, like you said, the dysfunction. Because some women, my husband was telling me this the other day, believe that they're the exception to the rule. So if you get into a relationship and you have cheated on every single girlfriend you've ever had, and I say, but you're not going to cheat on me. When you do cheat on me, I act surprised, like, what? I cannot believe, I am flabbergasted. This is beyond me. And not realizing, like, literally, this is what you do. But let's fix that. Let's figure out why you feel like one woman can't please you. Then we can get to the next step, which I should have did, but pridefully, I thought that you weren't going to stay out all night on me. I thought you weren't going to hit me. I thought you weren't going to cheat on me. I thought you weren't going to, various things that men do dysfunctionally in relationships. And we second guess that part because the love, the machismo is so blinding. Because as long as I'm trying to balance this sauce that you've given me on my head, I can't look around because you've courted me so well that I'm just like, Vincent didn't mean it. He's just
That's not like
That's
him.
not
I haven't
like
been
him.
courted well at all.
do you feel
like I
like
say, I jump in.
what were your expectations?
I don't expect much.
That's
simple.
why you didn't get much.
But I wouldn't say get much because it's something that you brought up that I don't see a lot out of just individuals in general, which is just being themselves completely out the gate. So I think that's the reason why you have probably, I wouldn't say don't get much, but been by yourself longer, because you get a chance to see people transparently versus waiting 4 months down the line.
People get to see her transparently.
Both, because I don't think that she would sit across from somebody. Like, when you're a transparent person, you can see when other people aren't.
Yeah.
Right? That is very true. So we came to our next point as far as hey, thank you. You know, I ran them by my other tech creative, and he said they were cool. So I kind of do that. It's him. That's why I said that. You get it? Okay. So when we're talking about coping skills. Because we're talking about what? We're coping skills. We're in a relationship. We're in a healthy relationship. We weighed our pros and our cons, and we've decided we're going to stay with this person. We're walking down a vision right now, if y'all haven't caught the vibe. So now we've reached our first argument. Like Vincent said, we're talking about the dysfunction. Historically, when you were with people that you didn't like this much, you handled arguments in a very poor way. So how do we come with healthy coping skills? And how often should you be arguing with somebody that you really like?
Let's hear from the married woman.
Wait a minute now. Hold on. I'm asking about relationships in general. Like, how much would you like to be arguing with your boyfriend?
How healthy are arguments?
It depends on what the goal is.
They're not healthy, but they are.
Like,
I think disagreements are healthy. I wouldn't say arguments are.
I've been on both sides. You know how you with somebody that they don't like to argue.
I don't like to argue.
I like to argue.
I can't do it.
I feel like we get something out of arguing.
I feel like we get something out of discussing. I feel like we get something out of conversing. But once the octave reaches a level that I'm uncomfortable with, I don't want to talk anymore. Because I just feel like now you're yelling, and I don't want to.
I hate
and this is like
that.
not even just in romantic relationships. This is period.
Yeah.
If one of y'all started yelling at me, I would be like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Because now we're not going to gain anything. Because now I'm only thinking of, why are you yelling at me? Like, I'm talking to you like a civilized person. Why don't you respect me?
Somebody just told me that I was argumentative.
You might be.
And I was like,
you said you like to argue.
But listen, and when they told me that, I was like, and then
I
thought about it. And I was like, oh shit, I am. I like to argue. I feel like you get something out of it.
Are you one of those people that thrives in chaos? Like, if things are too good for too long, you feel like there's something wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely argumentative.
Yeah.
This is a free therapy session right now.
This is too good to be true.
What could you be thinking of?
It's like, this is too good to be true.
Is it not good because it's good, or is it good because you thought of a conflict or something where something might be wrong?
Something might be wrong.
Okay, then that's just you addressing like what's coming to mind.
But I mean, I feel like argumentative and chaotic people create problems. Like, I've known several people who are that way, where if everything is honky dory for X amount of days, it's like, I need to talk about something because I need to make sure you still like me. Because if I don't argue with you, I feel like you're not as passionate about me, and that's just very, very unhealthy. Absolutely. Because that, like I said, that machismo is like, I'm like, dang, if I was in a relationship with a man who was like that, it would be like he always wants to argue about something that he's losing some of the machismo. Whenever I'm able to move my head freely around, I'm probably not gonna see him anymore.
But you know what? I think. I like to argue, but I don't want somebody else that likes to argue.
See, that's a lot. You might be damaging someone else.
Because, see, I found someone that likes to argue on the same
and you didn't
level
like
as
it?
I like to argue. Hated it. Hated it. It was horrible.
Somebody ain't gonna let you win.
Yeah, I want to win.
That's what it is. That's what it boiled down to. That's really what it boiled down to. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody can let you win.
Okay, so what about you, Twon? Do you feel that you have healthy coping skills? Or what is something that you would recommend, that you might not have experienced, that you would want from someone?
You said the coping skills?
Yeah. Okay. Things that you should do when you're disagreeing with someone instead of getting loud or, storming out.
Okay, I'm the type of person to where it's like, I don't know if it's from being raised by a single parent mother, you know what I'm saying? But I don't even like to like raise my voice and stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Like to a woman, I don't even like that. But what I learned though is like women, what I've learned though, like women like be testing like on purpose. That's like
really? That's not healthy.
Oh, you acting surprised? Like you ain't never test no one?
I'm
You know
not that
what I'm
type
saying?
of woman, so I can only go off of myself.
Okay, but
I be getting
tested.
though. I don't like chaos.
So it's like that's the confusing part for me, because it's like, okay, now I'm smart enough to know like that's not even really what you really upset about. This is the
is that what you mean? You mean like surface level, like passive aggression? Like I'm saying I'm mad about this, but I'm really mad about something else.
That's one of them, though.
I can see
but I'm
that.
the type of person to where like I'm a man of solutions. So
tell me what the problem is, girl.
Exactly. So when you come to me like that with some argument, with an argument or anything that you disagree with or whatever, like okay, we could talk about that. Okay, but then I've been in situations to where like it starts off as a discussion, then it goes into an argument
over something else.
No, like it could be the same thing. We're just not agreeing on the same thing. But what I'm learning is two people can be right. You know what I'm saying? Like two people can be right.
You know,
and two people can't be wrong.
There was like an image. I want to say it was by what's the man who painted the tomato can?
Ooh.
What's his name?
Warhol.
Andy.
Yeah, I think he made a picture with two men standing side to side, and there was a set. No, it wasn't a 6 and a 9. It was 7 and an L. And one person was saying this is an L, and the other person was saying this is a 7, and both of them are right. So I do agree with you. I think it's difficult because men and women think differently. We're wired differently. So it might be your tone that makes me feel like you're trying to hurt my feelings by telling me you see a 7. When I'm telling you I see a L. And you're not saying, I acknowledge that you see a L, Kayla. I'm only saying that I see it as a 7. And that is enough for me to be upset. Not me personally, but that's enough for a woman to be upset.
But I'm the type of person where I'd be like, okay, well, I see the 7. I don't see your L. I'm not saying you're lying. But I just don't see.
I'm not saying you lying.
Know what I'm saying? So since I don't
but
see
there's no level of respect there.
I can't agree with it.
But you gotta respect that she sees the L.
I respect that you see the L. I just don't
see it.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going off of what I see, so I see the 7.
So you're a fact-based person.
So I'm the type of person to where it's like, okay, let's sleep this shit off. You know what I'm saying? And we
agree to disagree. Though, but in order for you to get to the L, you have to have facts lining up to where. How do you see the L? Help me see that.
I'm that type of person. Like you gotta tell me why I'm not right. And it's not that I like to be right, but I just don't feel like I'm very rarely wrong.
But this goes back to the foundation of it. Two people can be right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying you wrong.
You just saying you right too.
I'm just saying I'm right too.
When you tell me I'm wrong, I'm right.
Well, so when we get to the argument with this fictitious person that we're in a relationship with, how do we know? Okay. How do we know when this person is not the match for you versus sticking it out? So if you've been in some people get stuck in relationships because they've been in there for so long that they don't want to risk what it's like to exit. I'm not trying to preach to you. Why you eye contact with me? So how do you know if somebody just doesn't want to learn your love language, like what Vincent was talking about, or somebody doesn't acknowledge that they see your 7, like what Twon was talking about, or if you don't have the chemistry, like both of you were talking about? How do you know when that is not your person?
Time. I think time would let you know.
How much time though? How much time do you want somebody to invest in you before they say you're not the person for me? Because I just feel like I don't like wasting time.
I don't like wasting time. I want you to tell me.
I don't want you to be shuttled. I want to be experiment number 79. Like I don't want to do that. Yeah. I want you to be like, I like tall girls. Okay, well, cool. I'm not never gonna be tall, so let me just go ahead on the dip. If you are, like you said, straightforward, I think we like con ourselves into thinking things sometimes. Like I said, we think we're the exception to the rule, or you think that she's just having a bad time, so she might be like this. And then after time, it's like I've invested so much time, and now I don't want to leave, or I got a kid with this person now.
Okay.
Or this person know too much, and if I let her go, she gonna have to do it. Yeah, I gotta kill her. I'm not advocating murder, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you know when to let go?
Numerous of things happen. Either someone comes into the mix, like she was saying. Someone, you could be in a relationship, then be unhappy, but then someone else comes and that could be like your omen to.
So you believe
escape.
the grass is green on the other side?
No, I'm just saying that could be one of them. Another one is just like, see, I'm the type of person where you got those key words. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like that.
You said something to me and now I hear it. Like
I
hear it.
You know what I'm saying? They take a break or like back up. But people do. People do things different. Like I don't know. I think you'll know it. You know what I'm saying? You'll know that energy. And if it has too much consistency, you know what I'm saying? Then you know what to do.
Okay.
I feel like you realize it.
Like a light bulb.
Yeah.
Like Eureka.
It just
you suck.
Like, wait a minute, where has this been all along?
So when the cup is empty.
Yeah.
Because when the machismo's gone, that's when the rose-colored glasses fall off, and then you can move your head around, and you're like, "Oh,
I've been in."
I see. How you doing?
For sure.
What about you? What do you think?
What's the question?
What do you think happens, or how do you know when somebody is not the one? How do you know when it's time to let somebody go?
Like I said, I'm gonna stick to this all the way. If we're not connecting, if you're doing something that's outside of how I feel emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and we're just not aligned in that way, then I feel like we're not supposed to be together. You
don't feel like people can come out of alignment from time to time?
I do feel like that can happen, but if it's happening consistently to where it's just like
this is like what he just said. You're not for me. You're not my person.
Performing in my.
You're not performing at your optimum ability.
I mean, together,
Cut her. It's out of there. She's
we
gone.
That means it's time for
you don't get to go to
it's
ticket.
not because in any place I go, I expect it to be an environment that's like supportive of me.
Facilitates your growth.
Yeah.
And if it's not,
then I'm not there.
Okay, so you need constant sunshine.
I am constant sunshine.
I mean, I'm saying you need that to be mirrored from another person. If that person ever goes dark, that's not your person.
No, if they go dark, I'm here for them to figure out whatever it is that's like.
But if they dark for too long, then you gonna be gone.
You only got a couple of chances.
Right, that's how he feels.
Doesn't this all go back? Doesn't this all go back to your love language?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay.
Full circle. That's what I do here on the Unicorn Fairy Lovechild experience.
If the person don't keep catering to your love language or keep communicating through, you know what I'm saying, the love language.
Or if the person is consistently discounting your love language.
You know the disconnection is real.
Yeah. Yes. Then I would say that that's probably not your person. Yeah. Also, we've talked about this on the prayer line several times before. We have to acknowledge when people are not our door. So like I said, you can see somebody who is with person A and they are nothing like what they are with person B. And person A has been knocking on their door for 10 years now, trying to get this man to change jobs, trying to get this man to not be with these women, trying to get this man to do X, Y, and Z. And he won't do it. And then he goes to the next person B, and magically overnight, he does everything that she's asking him to do. And the same thing with women. I am definitely guilty of this. If any other man, not that I've never been with anybody but my husband, but any other man would have asked me to do any of the things that my husband has asked me to do, and they have, I told him no, because I just didn't want to. And they had to accept that I didn't want to, or they couldn't be with me. Mm-hmm. So it was, when I got to him, the things, like you said, the bagel and toast thing, it was like, I don't even want to do it no more, because I love you that much that I don't want to do it. And it wasn't a conscious decision. It was just like, he said that we don't eat toast no more. All right, we don't eat toast.
No.
And for other people, it might have been like, I can't live without toast. Like, what do you mean? Like, I need this every day.
But are you putting the work into that person? Like, so.
Dang.
That was an hour?
See, look at you. We did not get through all of our points, y'all.
What?
So we got to continue.
I know. Huh? We do got to continue. I don't know if we're going to be continuing here or if my tech creative will be able to finish it outside. I don't know. But thank you for joining me for episode 6. I'm so sorry that I didn't get to finish everything. But I love y'all, wildflowers. Continue to shine bright and remember to be the light.